All right, so we're going to divide x minus 8 into 8x cubed minus 58x squared minus 38x minus 89. Now, one thing that you guys should always do is, I have this problem here, but I should also have my notes. So I'm going to open up another tab, and I'm going to pretend to be a student with notes, okay? So let me just move this to an example problem. All right. So this is the example, the last example we did in class. It has all the notes there. So what I need to do is, I think sometimes you guys forget what to do when to do it. So remember that this is 1x. So I'm going to say, what do I multiply this by to get this? So, well, yeah, hold on. So what do I multiply 1 by to get 8? Somebody said 8. That's correct. So I put an 8 here. Now the next thing I need to do is go, well, what do I multiply x by to get x cubed? Yeah, so what you need to do is you need to think in your head, what do I multiply x to the first power by to get x cubed? And remember, if I put a 2 here, that's the same as x plus x to the 1 plus 2, which is x cubed. So it's just x squared. But remember, I have to multiply that by both terms. So let's do it this way. I'm going to multiply this by this. Okay? So I go 8 times 1 is 8. Then the next thing I'm going to do is multiply the variable. X to the second power times x to the first power is x to the third power.
Do you write with the mouse?
I have a tablet. So now, remember, I have to take the same term and multiply it by negative 8. Same thing though, I'm going to multiply 8 by negative 8. So I'm gonna say 8 times negative 8 is negative 64.
How do you 8x to the third power?
What's 8 times 1?
Is that like we actually do that? So I just keep going.
Okay. All right. Now that's 64, but what about this x squared? Well, we just don't throw it away, we just tack it on. All right. Now, a real common mistake here is that you guys will forget a negative sign. That's why I kept saying plug it into your calculator. Please plug it in your calculator. Because a negative sign or a positive sign, if it's not the right sign, the whole thing's wrong. So, for example, somebody in here will say 8 times positive 8, make this a positive 64. You get the whole thing wrong. Just take the fancy calculator and multiply 8 by negative 8, and it'll tell you that it's negative 64. So always double check, because you only have 8 questions. If you use the calculator to double check, you're guaranteed, well, as long as you put it in the calculator right, but you have a high probability of getting the right answer. So now here, you might not remember what to do. We've only done 5 examples, so I go back to my notes. And I go, okay, what did I do here? Oh, it looks like I added the opposites. Oh, that's right. Mr. Adams kept saying add the opposites. That's right. So then that means I need to change the signs. So this becomes a negative 8x cubed, and that becomes a positive. So I have to change the signs. Yes? Well, yeah, if we do it right, that first term will cancel out. Absolutely. Okay. A common mistake here, they'll put the negative sign in the first term, forget the second term. I've already seen that a couple times today. Okay? So those are the things you look out for. Is it Is if it's negative, is it supposed to be? If it's positive, should it be? So always check the signs, and then you've got to change the signs for both terms. Not just the first one, it has to be every term. So now we add them up. These will definitely cancel. 8x cubed minus 8x cubed is 0. But now this is a negative 58 plus 54. Again, a lot of kids will see that negative symbol first and they'll say, oh, it's negative 6. Plug it in the calculator. Negative 58 plus 64 is a positive 6. So always double check that stuff. Okay.
And then what do you do with the x?
Well, if I have 60, think of it like this. If I have 64 x's, where's my, this is backwards. I have 64 x squareds in my hand, and I take away 58 of them. What's left in my hand? 6 what?
X squared.
6x squareds. So this would be a positive 6x squared.
That, I thought you just.
Well, I like to say that thing like what I have in my hand. So if I have like 5 x's in my hand and I take 3 x's away, I'm still left. Well, here's a better example. You know, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 6 pencils, and I take 2 pencils away. What am I left with? 4 lemons? No, 4 pencils. The x squareds are like a thing. It represents a number. But the x squareds represent one number. X cubes represent another number. X to the first power represents another number. And so you can't just eliminate it. That's when we say combine like terms. That's what we mean. So if I say, okay, well, I have 4 pencils and 2 paper clips, and I add them up, I don't have 6 paper clips, and I don't have 6 pencils. I have 4 pencils, and it's the same thing. X cubed only does math with the x cubed when you're adding and subtracting. X squared, you can only add and subtract with the x squared, but they don't go away. The numbers are what you're changing. They're called the coefficients. Okay? So anyways, now the next step, if I forget and I get stuck, I go, well, what did I do here? Well, I added this up and I see this little arrow, so I got to drop just this one down. So then that's what I do. I'm going to drop down the 38x. It's a negative 38x. So remember when you guys are like, do I have to write the plus down? Do I have to write the minus 1 down? The minus symbol down? I'm trying to get you prepared to think of these numbers in terms of positive or negative. So when we multiplied it out over there, and I said, yeah, no, trust me, write the plus sign down. I want you to make sure that goes with the number. So then again, just like before, what do I multiply 1 by to get 6? 6. But it's a positive 6. So right here, I'm going to put plus 6. Now we got to deal with the variable. I have 1x here. What do I multiply that by to get x squared? Yeah, x. So I'm just going to put an x here. Now, if I do my math right, that should cancel this term eventually. Let's do my math. So 6 times 1 is definitely 6. X times x is definitely x squared. But we're not done. I have to multiply this by the negative 8. What is 6 times negative 8? If you're not good with the positive and negative numbers, just multiply it out. It's 6 times negative 8 is negative 48. Okay? Make sure you get that negative sign. So that's negative 48, but what about this x? Does that go away?
No.
No. So we tack that on the end.
You gotta make it positive on that.
Yeah, now we got to add the opposites. So this becomes negative and this becomes positive. These will cancel. And then again, 48 minus 38 just leaves you with 10. 10 what? 10 x's. drop down to 89, negative 89 actually. Okay. And then what do I multiply 1 by to get 10? A positive 10. And then we have 1x here. What do I multiply x by to get x? Just 1, so we'll just leave it like that. So 10 times x is actually just 10x. Okay. Now what's 10 times negative 8? Negative 80. Add the opposites, so we subtract and add. So we're just going to change the symbols of those. These will cancel. They add up to 0. I don't want to say they cancel. I want you to understand that they add up to 0. And then what is negative 89 plus 80? I don't know, Mr. Adams. I'm going to plug it in my calculator. It's negative 9. Right. So that is negative 9. Now at this point, that's the remainder. Okay, I don't know what to do next. So I go and I look at my notes. Well, what was the answer? Well, this was the answer, right? Okay, well then, even if I don't remember, I look at I was like, okay, this looks like something. That's this here. This is in yellow, this is in yellow, this is in red, this is in red. Oh, wait, it's the remainder over the divisor. That's right, I remember Mr. Adams saying that. Okay. So then I think I'm going to write 8x squared plus 6x plus 10. And this is a minus 9, so I'm going to say minus 9 over x minus 8. Is that one of the solutions? Yeah, should be A. Perfectly drawn rectangle. Does that make sense?